Welcome to Dogs with Rich. I'm Rich, and in this video, I'm going to give you 10 tips to help keep your sanity when trying to raise a new puppy. Right after this. This is Hadley. She is a 4-month-old Catahoula, and several of our tips related to puppies are going to be related to potty training. Potty training can cause a lot of stress in households, with families, relationships, just in itself, not to mention all the other puppy issues. So several of our tips are going to be related to potty training. Tip number 1, get diapers, right? This is, Hadley's got a little diaper on, as you can see, and this is a diaper for a female. It will catch pee. It's got a absorbent pad in it, and this is not so that you can be lazy. This is so that you can take her in and out, and if you miss when she's having to go to the bathroom, you're not missing her going behind the couch, so it doesn't get cleaned up. Everything she happens to do will get caught, so it's to save your mindset, it's to save your floors, it's so you're not having to constantly have her ruin your carpets. Now, they do have disposable diapers that you can get. You can get them at any retail store that sells pet supplies. They do sell boy and girl diapers. The girl diapers look like this, where you're gonna see it kind of wraps all the way around. It's got a little hole for the tail. This one is reusable. They do have the disposable ones as well. The boy diapers are going to be a band that basically comes straight down here and covers their private parts for whenever they go to the bathroom. They also have those reusable, as well as they have them in disposable. This is gonna help keep your sanity when you've got your puppy that seems to be going to the bathroom everywhere. It's gonna help save your floors and give you a little bit more peace of mind that when you take them out and take that diaper off, you'll see whether or not you've missed one. Tip number 2, if you have a dog door, close it off. Now, a lot of us have dog doors because it makes things so much more convenient letting our dogs go in and out. But the problem is if we have a dog in the household who is not potty trained, having a dog door prevents us from being able to predict when they have to go or knowing when they've just been. So closing off the dog door for a minimum of probably 2 weeks is going to be able to get you into a routine so that you can get them out frequently. You can monitor with their diaper, as well as taking them out, how often that they are going. And it's going to help you get them into a consistent routine, and it is going to help you get them potty trained faster. So tip number 2 is close off the dog door. Tip number 3, inside the house, outside the house, anytime you're working with the puppy, whenever you have supervision, throw a leash on them. You can use a 4-foot leash, you can use a 6-foot leash, you can get these little 1/2-inch ones, or you can get 1/4-inch ones that are just light. You need supervision, obviously, in case it gets caught on something, but by having a leash on them is going to help you to be able to control them. So if you're trying to teach them not to get on the couch, for example, if they jump up on the couch, instead of chasing them and trying to catch them, you can just grab the leash. You can say no, off, escort them off the couch. If they're the types of puppies that grab things and run from you, right, and test you, all you have to do is get within 4 to 6 feet of them, depending on your leash, step on the leash, you can grab a hold of that and retrieve whatever it is that they're stealing. You can guide them when you take them outside where you want them going to the bathroom, so they're not just going wherever they want. And you can keep them focused on the act of going to the bathroom outside, as opposed to them just wandering and keep trying to play and things like that. So inside or outside, when you're working with them with supervision, tip number 3 is put them on a leash. Tip number 4, kennel train. Now, we had a video specifically on kennel training, and we will add a link in the description so that you can go straight to that and be able to learn all about kennel training, why we kennel train, why it's effective. The big keys about kennel training is that it is going to significantly help you with your potty training. Dogs are programmed not to go to the bathroom in their sleeping quarters. When they're very, very little, of course they will, and mom will clean it up by eating and licking it up. But once they get old enough to move around, they are programmed not to go to the bathroom in their sleeping quarters. So they are going to basically go around looking for places to go. So when we can find them in a kennel, it is going to make them naturally want to hold it, which is going to help you with your potty training. So if you're taking them out consistently, and during the night when you take them out, and let's say they've been in their kennel for 4 or 5 hours, once they're physically capable of holding it, they're going to hold it for those 4 or 5 hours. And you'll be able to take them straight outside. They're going to have to go to the bathroom, and we can start targeting where they start to go. So tip number 4, kennel train. Tip number 5, give your puppy a massage every day. What that means is we do daily puppy massages. We do these in our puppy classes, and we recommend that everybody does them at home at least once a day. The thing is as puppies are growing, they are basically being needed to be socialized to everything in their environment. They need to be socialized to other dogs, they need to be socialized to people. So by giving them a puppy massage, we are socializing them to being touched everywhere on their body. So as they get older, we'll be able to stick our fingers in their ears. If we need to get their ears checked, we'll be able to grab their feet so that we can cut their nails. If the vet needs to take their temperature, they'll be able to take their temperature without having a reaction. And so the way we do this and get them used to being socialized to being touched all over is by doing our daily puppy massages. Tip number 6, create some separation. Puppies can become very clingy and we can easily develop separation anxiety. So we want to start at an early age at creating some separation. The way you can create some, the way you can create some separation is using their kennel. You can use baby gates if you put them outside, for example. If you have other dogs, leaving them with them while you are creating that separation will help to make it a little easier on the puppy. Start with short spurts, say 10 minutes at a time, and then build it up to where you're able to leave for hours on end with either the puppy in their kennel or in another area of a playpen or a secured room where the puppy will feel safe and be able to go extended periods of time without their human. Take advantage of them while they're young and create the separation, because if we don't do it now when they're young, separation develops over years, separation anxiety, and then it can be much more difficult to address as an adult. Tip number 7, if you have other dogs, within reason, allow them to help set boundaries. Dogs learn very quickly from each other, and if we have a dog who, like Hadley, grows very quickly, we want to be able to establish and set boundaries right off the bat at the beginning, so as they get bigger and bigger, they're not too strong so that they're difficult to establish and set boundaries with. They need to learn how to interact with other dogs, so your dogs will help you teach them that. If we don't teach them that, let's say we isolate them from other dogs for the first 4 to 6 months of their life, and then they're already 60 pounds or more, introducing them to other dogs, they're gonna realize that they're bigger and a lot stronger than a lot of dogs, and they're not going to be polite, and the other dog's gonna struggle to set boundaries because they're too big. So while they're small, take advantage of that. So long as your dogs are establishing boundaries, which will involve with some growling, a little bit of teeth baring, a little bit of snapping, but we shouldn't allow it to get any further than that. Dogs can experience rage like people can, so if we start recognizing frustration building too much in our other dogs, we start seeing reactions that resemble rage like we would in people, then obviously at that point we're gonna wanna intervene. But some boundaries being set by other dogs, if she's playing too rough, if she's biting them too hard, if she is annoying them when they want to be left alone, we need to allow these dogs to establish some of the boundaries, and then we will be there to back them up so long as it's a boundary that needs to be enforced. Tip number 8, call them by their name and call them often. For example, Hadley, yes, good girl, Hadley, yes, good girl. We want them to learn their name because we want them to be responsive to their name. So use their name all the time. Whenever you're talking to them, with your baby talk, good girl, Hadley. Anytime you're issuing praise, when you're feeding them, when you're playing with them, and just use their name as often as you can so that they learn their name quickly, so that we can start developing that bond and that association with that name, so that we can teach the coming when called more easily, and everything else will become more easily when we can get their attention by calling their name. Tip number 9, get your puppy into a routine. Once you get your puppy into a routine, it will make things easier. Typically dogs under 6 months of age, especially the bigger ones, we typically feed 3 times a day. We want to get them into more of a routine so that we can have some expectations with the pup. If we get them into a feeding routine, we can also have more expectations and be able to anticipate when they're going to need to use the restroom, which is also in turn going to assist with our potty training. Getting them into a routine of when it is bedtime versus when it's nap time versus all these other things, just like with a human baby, will help them get into a rhythm with the rest of your pack so that things just get easier. So if you can, try and get them into a routine as best you can, because once the dog learns that routine, then they will know what's coming, they will know what to expect, and then it will be easier for them to meet our expectations. Right, Hadley? Good girl, yes, good girl. Tip number 10, set boundaries. We are going to set boundaries with our puppies. So you're going to tell them no if they're doing something wrong, and you're going to give them praise when they're doing something that you like. It is a balance between corrections and positive reinforcement. So what we want to do is we want to give them lots of love and affection when they're doing things that are appropriate. If they start doing something that's inappropriate, for example, they start going to the bathroom in the house, or if they start chewing something that they're not supposed to, give them a quick stern no, redirect them. If they're pottying, take them outside. If they're chewing on something, they're probably teething, so then spin them around, get them away from whatever it is that they're chewing on. Get them something that they can chew on, such as a toy or a bone, something like that. And then start giving them praise to reinforce them doing the positive thing, right? Setting boundaries at an early age will help it so that it's easier to set boundaries at an older age. If we don't set boundaries with the puppies when they're young and small like this, once she gets to 65, 70 pounds, it's gonna be much more difficult to set boundaries with. And for watching all the way to the end, we're gonna give you an extra tip. Spend time with your pup and give them lots of love. The more time you spend with your pup, the stronger your bond's going to be, and the better that connection you're going to have with them. Remember, the puppy phase is something that everybody who has a puppy has to get through. The chewing, the potty training, the jumping, all of these things are things that is part of raising a puppy. So we just have to get through those things. It's very frustrating. It gives you lots and lots of headaches, but just remember, this is a marathon. We have to get through that first mile of the marathon. This is the hardest part of having the puppy, getting them through these phases. But once we get them through that, it's so rewarding, and your puppy's going to love you. You're going to have a fantastic relationship with them, and then they're going to give you hopefully 10 to 15 plus years of an amazing time with your pups. So why don't you grab your puppy, hit pause, and we're gonna do a quick puppy massage right now. All right, if you've grabbed your puppy, we're gonna go ahead and start our exercise for the puppy massage. So go ahead and get them just like this, and we're gonna start with their head, right? Do gentle, nice touching. We're gonna touch them on top of their head. Good girl. Tell them what a good girl they are. We're gonna put our hand on their muzzle. We're gonna touch their nose. We're gonna wiggle their nose. We're gonna touch their cheeks. We're gonna lift up their mouth and stick our hands and fingers in their mouth and touch their gums. Good girl. Yes, good girl. We'll even open their mouth, stick our fingers in there, touch their tongue. Good girl. We want her to be completely comfortable with us touching her face and all over like this. We're gonna touch her cheeks, touch her chin, rub down to her neck. We're gonna go to her ears. We're gonna stick our fingers in her ears, wiggle them around. Good girl. Constantly do praise with this. If your puppy's showing some hesitation, grab some treats to help distract them so that they have something to focus on while they're getting used to being touched. Move your way down their neck. You wanna rub the back of the neck as you move down to their shoulders. Doing this also, you're gonna be feeling for any abnormalities as you palpate the body. You're feeling for any masses that don't feel right, finding any cuts or scrapes that they may have had. Move your way down the arms, touch their elbows, all the way down to their feet. Once you get to their feet, you're gonna touch in between all of their toes, in between their pads. Good girl, Haddles. You're going to tell them what a good girl or a good boy they are. While you're doing this, you're gonna make this very positive. Touch all of their toes. You're gonna go down each arm individually, or leg, I suppose. Go in between each of the toes like that. Good girl. Tell them what good girl they are. If they mouth you, tell them no, and then continue what you're doing. You can also use things to distract them, such as treats. Move your way down. Good girl. And you're gonna palpate their chest. Good girl. And their abdomen, right? Because the vet's gonna wanna touch their abdomen when they check them. Good girl. So you want them used to this. Move down to the legs. Go down each leg individually, in between each of the toes. Good girl, Hadley, right? Other leg as well, right? Puppies, when they check for a pulse to find out what their pulse is, they're gonna check down here. So touch down here, stick your fingers down here. You're gonna feel their femoral vein, their femoral artery, which is what they get the pulse from, so touch there. Touch their rump, go all the way down their tail, and that's your puppy massage. So you're gonna wanna do that once a day at least, every day for the first several months so that they get completely comfortable with being touched. Because those dogs that you see that you can't touch their nails, I guarantee you they weren't doing puppy massages with the dogs when they were puppies. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate you and we appreciate your support. If you like this video, please hit the like. Share this if you know somebody who has a puppy or is gonna get a puppy soon that these tips might be helpful for. And hit the alert if you'd like to be alerted every time we have a new video posted. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And thank you again for watching, and we will see you on the next one.